Rich Eisen had a great seat last night, did a great job. He's Mr. Nashville. NFL Network hosts The Rich Eisen Show on Audience Channel 239 that follows ours and brlive.com. How are you feeling today, Rich?
DP, I'm ready for 6 more rounds, to be honest with you.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I'm hydrated. I'm stretched. I only know one speed.
I like it.
And it is what it is.
What was the cool jargon this year?
The jargon. I don't think it changed at all.
There was a little twitchy. Twitchy made an appearance.
Actually, I think there was less jargon because Mayock wasn't there. We didn't get the oily hips. We didn't get the heavy-legged waistbender. He works better in a phone booth. We didn't get any of that because Mayock is actually picking now.
Whose strategy did you question last night? Which team?
I think you kind of hit on it right there with the Giants. But in the 15 years that I've done this, every single evaluator I've ever been across says if you love the quarterback, you take him right where you can, the first possible moment you can. And that's why the Giants went with Daniel Jones at 6. I'm already getting texts from some buddies of mine back home in New York that they fear that he's the second coming of Dave Brown.
Yeah.
But you never know. You just absolutely don't know. He comes from Duke. David Shaw, who was sitting next to me last night from Stanford, called Duke coach Cutcliffe the greatest quarterbacks coach in America. Obviously, he's tight with the Manning family from their days at Tennessee. So you put all those together, and they love him. They were probably fearful that maybe Washington would get him and snagged him.
When did you know that Kyler Murray was going number 1 to Arizona?
Until the words came out of Goodell's mouth. It's nuts because we've never had a situation like that. Obviously, last year with Baker Mayfield, we were wondering if it was Baker or Darnold, but it really could have been a bunch of names that started off the draft last night. And on top of it, the intrigue about where Josh Rosen was going. I would have put the number, the percentage of where the Murray being taken and Rosen being kept by the end of the night. I would have put that in the single digits of likelihood of percentage, 5%, something along that lines. I'm stunned that Rosen is still on that team right now. I'm stunned that the Cardinals did not have something in their right or left-hand drawer that's been planned over the last week or so to just pull out and say, the minute we take Murray, who wants him if we take him, and then just have the bidding behind the scenes. And if it's known that they were bidding on Rosen, well, it doesn't matter because they're taking their guy. It just makes no sense that Rosen is still on that team right now, Dan.
Robert Klemko, Monday Morning Quarterback, he just tweeted out, the Cardinals GM Steve Keim didn't start taking calls and text on Josh Rosen trade until minutes before the draft started, per sources, and Rosen's value diminished with every pick. As a result, nobody came close to offering the first-round pick the Cardinals were seeking. I'd heard, it was 3 weeks ago, where I was told nobody is giving a first-round pick to the Cardinals for Josh Rosen. And I would have thought now the leverage goes back down. Unless you're going to go, well, somebody's after the first round or maybe the second round, they go, we didn't get our guy or a guy. Now we'll trade for Josh Rosen. Maybe have a little leverage. I just don't know what the Cardinals, what that stance was, what the philosophy is going into Josh Rosen's situation.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And now you've got a kid who is very upset. There's just no other way to put it. And, for him to still be on this roster right now makes no sense. I had Mariucci on my show the other day and asked him, is it possible that they could keep Murray and Rosen? And he called that gasoline and matches. Those were the 3 words that he used. Wow. Because not only are you going to have a young kid in the quarterback room whose job was just taken from him, but also on top of it, you got a kid who's smart enough to be able to verbalize this in a way or internalize it in a way that just might make it even worse. So he's handled it nothing but professional. so far, and I've been given every indication that he's going to continue to do it that way. And I don't know if Miami's going to bail them out. That's the only way to term it right now, is bail them out.
Yeah.
Because everything I've heard, Dan, and I'm sure you have, in every possible play they can by winning as many games as they possibly can and still winding up with Tua next year.
I know.
So I don't know how they'd pull that off, but I don't think they're going to scrap all that unless they could get Josh Rosen for pennies on the dollar, which it looks like he's going to have to be available for.
What do you expect to happen tonight?
I expect to see a ton of cornerbacks go. I mean, a ton. They were hardly taken. There's a few tackles to be had. I expect a ton of trades, and just another great night. I mean, it is a party here, Dan. It is just amazing. It really is.
How would you compare it? How would you compare that atmosphere?
What'd you say?
How would you compare the atmosphere of last night to other, like Philly, Chicago, some of these other?
There's no comparison, because those other places were just a draft hall dropped into a beautiful park, or on the iconic steps of an art museum where they created with tenting and just other makeshift museums with NFL artifacts in tents around a park or a street, or in last year, a parking lot of an NFL stadium. This is already like a dynamic, vibrant party spot that's top 5, if not top 10 in America, to go hang out and just party in, and just dropping the draft in it. And it's amazing, and it's a football crazy spot. Obviously, Philly and Dallas and Chicago are too, but just putting it all together, that was nuts last night. And I think the NFL is going to get an idea here to continue making this bigger by dropping the draft into already iconic places that you can somehow cordon off security-wise. And I'm hearing Fremont Street in Vegas next year. And I think that's the mode that they're going to go right now from now on if they can.
Great job last night. Enjoyed the watch, and we'll be watching tonight.
You're the man, DP. Take
Thank
care.
you, buddy. That's Rich Eisen, NFL Network host.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on VR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.